Hi, I'm Ryan Gupta and this is 5-Minute Theology. Today we will answer this question: how was Jesus in the grave for 3 days and 3 nights if he died on a Friday and was resurrected on a Sunday? This question comes from Matthew chapter 12 verse 40. It reads, "For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of a huge fish, so the Son of Man will be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth." Now, if we do the calculation, we can see Friday is 1 day, 1 night, Saturday, 2 days, 2 nights, but Sunday, he was resurrected Sunday morning. So that leaves us a night short. So if Jesus was crucified on a Friday and he rose on a Sunday, then we have 3 days and 2 nights. So is this a contradiction? Absolutely not. Then how can we understand this? First of all, we need to understand that in the Jewish culture, they counted a part of a day and a part of a night as a full day and a full night. Today, in a sense, we do the same thing. For example, if someone asks you, how many days in a week do you work? You will say 6, or most of you will say 6 days. But that doesn't mean that you are counting a day as a full 24-hour day, because most of us don't work a full 24-hour day. Or sometimes we say, I'll be out for the day, but that doesn't mean that we are out for the full 24-hour day. So when Jesus said he would be in the grave for 3 days and 3 nights, he was not talking about the full 72 hours. He's using everyday language just like you and I. The second thing we need to understand is this: in Jewish culture, 3 days and 3 nights is an idiomatic expression or an idiom. An idiom is a phrase that has a meaning different from the literal meaning of the words in it. So when Jesus said 3 days and 3 nights, it's an idiom. It's an idiomatic expression. For example, when we say it's raining cats and dogs, we just mean that it's raining a lot. Or when we say to someone, I'll be there in a couple minutes. How many of you said that recently? I'll be there in a couple minutes. In its strictest definition, a couple means 2. But most of the time, when we say I'll be there in a couple of minutes, we just mean a short period of time. What if the person said to you, but you said a couple of minutes? A couple of minutes is 2 minutes. Well, we understand what we mean when we say a couple of minutes. So how do we know that 3 days and 3 nights is an idiomatic expression? We have evidence that this expression is used as an idiom both from the Old Testament, the New Testament, and from Jewish sources. So first, let's allow the Jewish sources to confirm what we are saying. Look at Rabbi Eliezer. He said a day and a night are an ona, a portion of time. And the portion of an ona is as the whole of itself. So here this Jewish rabbi is saying, yes, a portion of the day is considered to be the full day. A portion of a night is considered to be a full night in Jewish culture. Also look at the Jewish encyclopedia. It says a short time in the morning of the 7th day is counted as the 7th day. Circumcision takes place on the 8th day, even though of the first day only a few minutes after the birth of the child, these being counted as 1 day. So in this Jewish encyclopedia, the Jews are saying, yes, a part of a day is a full day, a part of a night is a full night. So there we see it from the Jewish sources themselves. They are confirming the way they counted time, counting a part of a day or night as a full day or a full night. Now let's look at the Old Testament using 3 days and 3 nights as an idiom to mean a period of time. I want you to observe very carefully. Look at Esther 4:16. Go gather together all the Jews who are in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. So that's 3 days and 3 nights. I and my attendants will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king. So here Esther is telling the people, fast for 3 days and 3 nights. And after the 3 days and after the 3 nights, she will go to the king. So that makes it the 4th day. After 3 days, after 3 nights, she's saying, I will go to the king on the 4th day. But just a chapter away, look at Esther 5:1-2. On the 3rd day, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the palace in front of the king's hall. The king was sitting on his royal throne in the hall, facing the entrance. When he saw Queen Esther standing in the court, he was pleased with her and held out to her the gold scepter that was in his hand. So Esther approached and touched the tip of the scepter. But I want you to understand something again. Esther said, after 3 days and 3 nights she will go to the king. But here Esther is going to the king on the 3rd day. Does that sound familiar? Jesus said, for 3 days and 3 nights I will be in the heart of the earth. But on the 3rd day he was resurrected. Is Esther contradicting herself? Absolutely not. It's a Jewish idiomatic phrase, and the Jews understood this. Now look at another example in 2 Chronicles 10:3-5. It says, and they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all Israel came, and they spake to Rehoboam, saying, thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father and his heavy yoke, which he put upon us, lighter, and we will serve thee. Verse 5. And he said unto them, come again unto me after 3 days. So they were supposed to come on the 4th day. But look, when they came, look at 2 Chronicles 10 verse 12. This is verse 12 of the same chapter. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the 3rd day, as the king bade, saying, come to me again the 3rd day. But if you look in verse 3-5, he said, come to me after 3 days. But in verse 10, it's confirming that he said, or it's showing us that after 3 days can mean on the 3rd day. Do you see that? They came the 3rd day, just as the king said. But he said after 3 days. So what we are seeing here in this Jewish idiom is that after 3 days and on the 3rd day is the same thing. It's a Jewish idiom, and the Jews understood. That's why the king did not say to them, I said come after 3 days, why are you here on the 3rd day? Same thing with Esther. So in the Bible, 3 days and 3 nights is an idiomatic expression. Again, sometimes we say to people, call me back in a couple of days. But we don't use couple in the strictest sense. That would mean 2 days. Many times people call back after 4 or 5 days, and that is taken as a couple of days. So Jesus and the people in his time, they knew that 3 days and 3 nights is an idiomatic expression. Yes, they did. Even the enemies of Jesus knew this. They knew this expression. And that is why they didn't accuse Jesus of contradicting himself when he rose Sunday morning. Did you observe that? Did you get that? If Jesus contradicted himself, the scribes and the Pharisees, they would have said he lied, he contradicted himself. He said after 3 days and 3 nights he was supposed to rise on the 4th day, but he rose on the 3rd day. This was not a problem for them, because even though Jesus said 3 days and 3 nights, they understood that it could mean on the 3rd day. From the Old Testament, they were Jews, they knew the Old Testament, they knew the story of Rehoboam, they knew the story of Esther, they knew what this idiom meant. So let's look at more evidence. Look at Matthew 27:62-64. The next day, the one after preparation day, the chief priests and the Pharisees went to Pilate. Sir, they said, we remember that while he was still alive, that deceiver, they're calling Jesus a deceiver when he was alive, said, after 3 days I will rise again. So if Jesus said after 3 days I will rise again, that is supposed to be on the 4th day. But look at what they are saying. So give the order for the tomb to be made secure until the 3rd day. Now here it is, in plain sight, the enemies of Jesus, they are saying he said after 3 days, but they just want the tomb to be guarded until the 3rd day. Why is it, if he's supposed to be resurrected on the fourth day, why is it they don't want the tomb to be guarded until Monday? Because they themselves, in their own words, in one passage, they are saying after 3 days or after 3 nights as well, it can be on the third day. That's why they didn't ask for soldiers to be there till Monday. They're saying until the third day. They're showing us Jesus said after 3 days, but they're saying that means the third day. So they received from the enemies of Jesus themselves. They understood what he meant, and they're using the same idiomatic expression the way Jesus used it. So there we see it. Even the enemies of Jesus knew that although Jesus said 3 days and 3 nights, he was using an Old Testament idiom that could mean on the third day. So in conclusion, Jesus did not contradict himself. 3 days and 3 nights was an idiomatic expression that meant on the third day. We confirm this with the Old Testament, with the New Testament, with Jewish sources, and also with the enemies of Jesus in their own words. God bless you. Thank you for listening.